Hello and welcome to a look at I.O. for the Commodore 64, a game that was made by Kinetic Design and released by Firebird. You would assume this game has got a plot, but it hasn't. There's no overarching reason for you to go out and shoot some aliens, but that is what you need to do. You need to go out and shoot some aliens. You shoot set aliens spread across 4 different levels, each containing a guardian at the end of it, which of course has to be defeated, usually through multiple stages of components that need to be shot into pieces in order to expose the guardian's vulnerable spot, so you eventually can blow up the guardian itself. You are in control of an I.O. combat craft, hence the title of the game, which you have to navigate through set levels and shooting stuff. The various different levels contains pods that you can fly into, activating a smart bomb that will of course clear all enemies on the screen. But if you shoot at the pods a total of 4 times, it will turn into a power-up that you can pick up that will increase your firepower. You can increase your firepower that way twice. And then after that, if you shoot the pods, it will turn into a side shot thing you can attach to your craft, of which you can obtain a total of 2. Those side things will obviously increase your firepower, but it will also act as, or they will also act as a shield. So any normal shots that hit your craft will cause a side shot to disappear, and if the side shots themselves get hit, they will also disappear. But certain damage types will either completely ignore the fact that you got pods and just blow you up, or will cause you to lose both of your side shots if you have 2 available. If you only have 1, they will likely still just one-shot you. Any further pods that you shoot will turn into a side shot, but you can only carry 2, so they will turn into bonus points. But spoiler, don't do that. Just use them as smart bombs instead. You get a lot more points than the 2,000 points you get from picking up an extra side shot that you can't fit. Let's cover the technical side of things. Graphics-wise, I think this game is exceptional. It's the only word that does it any justice. The level design and looks of the level is incredibly sharp and crisp, and you get a feeling for the environment you are flying around in. The main player craft is of an exceptionally high level of detail, and the animation of it is very, very smooth. Most of the enemies look exceptional as well. There's the occasional slightly dull looking enemy, but by and large, from a graphical point of view, this is, despite the fact that the game was released in 1987, one of the best looking games on the Commodore 64. Of what I've seen, at least. Yeah. The sound effects, again, exceptional. I have before mentioned that a lot of sound designers in various different games seem to have gone over lightly when it comes to sound effects, but the sound effects made for this particular title are of an incredibly high quality, and this title contains some of my absolute favorite sound effects made for the Commodore 64 or for Commodore 64 game ever. Very few has rivaled it in its quality of sound effects, let me put it that way. The music is only the title tune, and it is again of a very, very high quality. It's a short little tune that fits the game, suits the game, gets you in a bit of a mood for going out and shooting some aliens. And the entire sound package is something that has always been something I have remembered this title for. The controls are spot on. I mean, left, right, up, down will do those kind of things, and you use the fire button to shoot stuff, and that's all there is to it. The controls are incredibly sharp, responsive, and yeah, no complaints there at all. Well, this is just another side-scrolling shoot 'em up, you could argue. It still manages to do its own thing. Mainly the fact that, unlike many other shoot 'em ups, this one doesn't try to overwhelm you with enemies coming at you. There's a very controlled amount of enemies in your way, and they will always appear in the same locations, and they will always behave in the same way. The only randomness this game contains is whether enemies decide to shoot at you or not. Fixed emplacements and bosses and that kind of stuff will always shoot at you, of course, but flying enemies may decide to shoot at you, and they may decide not to shoot at you, meaning that you never know for a fact whether you got a safe spot or not. Considering the fact that enemies from various different angles are shooting at you, and they will always aim at where your craft is currently at, you can have shots coming from different angles at different speeds, and adding to the fact that most of the time you will have some background you don't want to smack into as well, it can be very easy to get boxed in. The game has very little allowance for mistakes, especially when you have obtained your maximum amount of firepower. If you lose that at an inappropriate time, you can find that the checkpoint section you have to go through with no added firepower can be incredibly challenging, borderlining on what feels virtually impossible. And in that regard, the game can likely frustrate quite a bit. With this title, Kinetic Design set out to create the ultimate arcade experience for the Commodore 64. And while you could argue that may sound a touch pretentious, considering what came before it, and unfortunately also what came after this particular title, they weren't particularly far off the mark. Whether the gameplay is somewhat simplistic, being a side-scrolling shoot 'em up or not, preciously few titles released after this particular game were remotely close to rival it. Of what I've seen, I can only name a handful at best. It's rough, it's tough, but it oozes a quality. On that note, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.